Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. You've tuned in to ALH Broadcasting, and this is Andrea L. Hines, your host for When Life Speaks. I'm glad you accepted the invitation to connect with us as we share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it's a blessing to your life, it just may be for someone else as well. So tag, share, invite someone, then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Good evening, and welcome to When Life Speaks. I am your host, Andrea L. Hines, and I am welcoming all of you this evening. I'm so glad that you're able to join me. This is a wonderful place to be on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. We have interesting topics and interesting guests, and there are always things that I have to share with you on Thursday nights. And I'm just glad that this is another one of those Thursdays where I have something to share with you, and I'm glad that I can. Let's see, I hope you had a good day. I hope you've had a good week, and I hope that above anything that you will be able to join in the conversation tonight, join in the discussion this evening. We've got a lot to cover. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not so much that we have a lot to cover, but I do want to be sure that I give you an opportunity to respond to some of the things that we're going to be talking about this evening. First of all, let me tell you what is coming up next week. We will have our last segment with Trelyn Usry, our director and actress and author, and we've been following her journey in getting her film produced and getting funding for it. She's had some exciting things happen, and she's going to share those with us next week. And on the following week, because we only have only two more shows this year. Can you believe that? Only two more. And the next time you will see us after that, we will be in 2025. But on that last show, it's going to be a night of prayer. And we have six folks who join us in prayer. And it's going to be an evening to relax. It'll be the day after Christmas. It'll be some time for you to just sit still and join us in worship and join us in prayer. That's going to be on December 26th, right here at 7 p.m. So I thank you for putting that on your calendar, and hopefully you will be able to make it and share that time with us. Good evening to you. Ida, good to see you in the house tonight. And I see Marie Kinsella is there. And Marie was instrumental in giving us some comments on our topic tonight. We had started a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about success, because this is the time of year that people go through their self-examination and find places and periods of self-discovery. They look at the things that they wanted to achieve, and it's kind of like a checklist almost. Did I make this one? Did this come to pass? Did I do what I should have done or meant to do in another particular situation or circumstance? And it's just a good time of year to do that. And that's where we found ourselves. And we were talking about it last week, and not last week, but a couple of weeks ago. And God had given me a verse about it, and I'm just going to review that verse with you tonight, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, Bernice. Thank you for the flowers. Glad to have you in the house and on the program tonight. It says, I want to be all that I'm called to be. I want to be a success, but I want to do what God wants me to and not sell out to the rest. How do you manage success for yourself? Is it about the things that you acquire? Or is it when you can flaunt the fact that you've attained your heart's desire? Is that when you feel you're successful? When promises manifest and you have no condemnation and you have no reason to regret? Just a little food for thought. So here's what we're going to do: take the time and perhaps redefine what success really means to you. And we got that out there, put it out there, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna just tap into the village and see if there were members in the village who had some thoughts on success. What did success mean to them? What did they think they would need in order to be successful? What would that take and what would that look like? And I'm missing my co-host tonight too. Lynn was supposed to be with me this evening. She is not feeling well, and I miss her. I miss my pumpkin head. So, Lynn, I hope you feel better. I did want to get that in because I'm missing you tonight. But moving forward, as I began to look at it, look at success and look at those things, uh, I realized that success means different things to different people. The overall meaning is the same. If you look it up in the dictionary, it talks about achieving a goal or being prosperous or attaining what you are going after and things like that. But I also I also looked at one of the scriptures, which kind of put me, I'm not going to say it put me in a different space, but it made me think about things a little differently. But I want to first um, read you or share with you what the three members of the village said tonight, and two of them are online. So be sure if you want to further comment, Marie and Bernice, be sure to do that. Not a problem at all. I always welcome your insight. Um, but Marie said when she thinks about success and what it means and what you need to do in order to be successful, she said, never give up. Keep trying and do your best. Do your best. Have a focused mindset. Determination and goal setting are important. And Marie, I want to add to that goal setting, realistic goal setting, realistic goal setting. Keep trying, she says, and trust God in the process. And I think that last part is extremely important. And I say that because things don't always go as smoothly as we think that they should. And above all, timing, which is so important, always seems to be not what we think it's going to be. And sometimes we set out with these expectations and we think it's going to happen by, it's going to happen by June or it's going to happen by September or whatever. And then when it doesn't happen, we feel like we have failed. It's not necessarily a failure. It is just that the timing has to be right and everything has to be aligned so that the success can come to pass according to the will and the way of the Father. And that sometimes looks a little different. But I thank you, Marie, for your insight on that. Um, Bernice says, I think of success as not always winning, but in the completion of our participation and endurance to complete the task. Running in and competing in a marathon, even though I didn't win first place, but I did manage to cross the finish line. And Bernice, that is going to be really important in a minute. She said she didn't win first place, but she did manage to cross the finish line. So, but I believe that in success or in succeeding, one must realize that failure is possible, but failure isn't an opportunity to quit. It's an opportunity to regroup and restart. Regroup and restart. She said, I will proceed from my unsuccess. I will proceed from being unsuccessful by letting the things that have caused me to be unsuccessful be teachable moments. That hopefully teaches me not to make the same mistake again. And Bernice, I was talking with someone today, and they were talking about the issue of lessons being learned. And as a matter of fact, it tags right to the end of what Angie said. And she said, I see success as accomplishing life, living every day, making it your best day. Do you ever start out that way and just think that no matter what happens, no matter what happens, I declare and decree this is going to be the best day ever? And when you start looking at it that way, you begin to see all of the possibilities. You don't see defeat as defeat. You see it as a stepping stone. You see it as a learning tool. You see it as something that you can use at a later point in time, something that is going to be important to you. She said, I believe discipline is the key, and that goes with Marie and her focused mindset. And she actually says, I have to stay focused. If I feel as though I've been unsuccessful, I try to pull a lesson out of it, even if it is to say, I won't do it again. Success is a mindset and not a checklist. Boy, I tell you what, most of the things that are very important to us become lifestyle changes and not just something that we do one time. So yes, it does affect our mindset. It does affect the way that you look at things and the way that you approach things, the way that you respond to things. But as I was getting into all of this, I remembered uh, Joshua, I think it's Joshua 1 and 8. It says, this book of the law shall not proceed out of thy mouth. Let me see if I can get it because I don't want to misquote it here. It says, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. And I thought about that issue of good success. And Lynn and I were talking about it today. And I said, do you think it is that there is a possibility to have success and still not have good success? And I began to try and research that. And I will tell you honestly and completely, I did not come up with anything profound, anything revelatory that I can point to with a surety and say, aha, that is it. But I can give you my opinion of it because I do think there is a difference with good success. And I tell you why, and one of you mentioned it early on. I think that when we talk about good success, that there is something that is fulfilling and something that is satisfying that takes the accomplishment of that goal or that achievement to another level, to another height. And that's what I was thinking about when I got all the comments and got the things in. And I thank you so much, ladies, um, for giving your insight with that, because I think you're right on point. I think you're right on target. And I think everything that you said is really true. It's really true. But I think we can go up a notch. And I thought if I'm looking at success to be the good success part, to be more fulfilling and more gratifying, then there are things about me and within me that I need to know in order to understand and have the perception of what I deem is really important, or what I deem is part of that lifestyle, and that sets it apart from the checklist. And that just make things sit a little differently. Uh, when I was in a class not long ago, we were talking about wealth, and we were talking about knowing your currency, understanding your currency, because your currency is not always money. Uh, it's not always money. There are different things. If you've ever worked in corporate America, um, and it's time for a raise, or it's time for an increase. Good evening, Pastor Val. Thank you for coming in. We're talking about success tonight, and good success, and whether or not there's a difference between the two. But I was thinking about in corporate America when they would set up to have, um, what do I want to say, to give you rewards, let's say, for a job well done, job well done, achieve the goal, whatever the goal happened to be. And for some people, if you gave them money, if it was monetary, a monetary time, reward that you got, they were as happy as they could be. But then for other people, if you gave them 3 extra days off where they could go and spend time with their family, that became the most important thing for them. Now, had the goal been achieved in both cases? Yes, it had. But the fulfillment and the satisfaction that the individuals gained from achieving that goal were different. And they were different because the individuals valued things differently. And somehow I think that puts a difference between success and having good success, that good success that God spoke about in the word. Now, I could be totally and completely off. It is my opinion. But you put in the comment section how you feel about that. You may feel that they are exactly the same thing. You may think that there is no difference in good success and in success. But just put it in the comment section. Let me know what you think about that. But when I kept going, and I kept going along that line, and I thought to myself, okay, what do you need? What do you need in order to succeed? What are some of the things that if you want to be totally fulfilled with that success, and totally just feeling so satisfied and gratified with having met that goal and things like that? I looked at people that I deem who have been successful, and I looked at the word success, and because I'm always looking at words and looking at other words to go with those words. But as I did that, I thought, people that I see who are successful and who seem to be fulfilled and who seem to be in exactly the spot that they want to be in, doing what they want to do, and all those things that go with success. There were certain things that certain characteristics and certain attributes that I found that I think are really important when you're going to succeed on a level that really motivates you, makes you want to get up every day, wants you to pushes you to continue, pushes you to do things differently. And these are some of the things that I thought about. First of all, those who succeed seem to have the ability to set the standard. They are usually not your cookie cutter people. They are usually not people who are simply followers. They are leaders in their own right, and they know how to just be a cut above. They need know how to um, not just start a thing, but start it in a way that makes other people want to emulate what it is that they have done, and want to be able to say, how did you do that? How did you make that happen? Why was that little thing important that you did over there? It is something about them that allows them to just go up a notch, to continue to go up a notch, whatever it is they do. They have a unique understanding of the goal that they're going after. They have a unique understanding of what that goal means, who that goal is going to affect, how it's going to be instrumental in a larger picture. Those people who are succeeding are looking at not just what is going on in the here and now, but it's going to be something that is going to be going beyond. And let me see what Val says here. Yes, good success can be high quality. High quality. That's right. It's not going to be your average thing. Your average thing. That unique understanding puts them at a place where good enough is not going to be good enough for them. They're always going to be seeking greater, not from a selfish standpoint, but just because they are aware of the possibilities. Their communication is just on point. They know how to be peacemakers. They know how to be good negotiators. Whether they are speaking to you directly, whether they are writing, whatever it happens to be, their communication skills are just on point. And they can talk to any generation. They can talk to the elderly. They can talk to the Gen X folks. They can talk to whomever it is. They have a way, and it probably comes from empathy. It comes from understanding on another level. It comes from looking at the goal and assessing how things are. Having that unique understanding will put them at that place, a place where they communicate differently. Um, they are champions of change. And that, I think, is so important. When you look at people who are successful, they are able to take the bull by the horn, as they say, because anything can happen. What you started out to do today that you thought you were going to have completed maybe 2 months ago, and it didn't happen. You know why? Because life happened. Something else took place. Something else shifted your focus. Something else turned things around. Something else that God wanted to do in you, with you, through you. And that took precedence over where you thought you were going to go. But you embraced it. When you are successful people are champions of change. They are not afraid of it. They are not deterred by it. They are not scared. They are none of those things. None of those things. They can look at it with that unique understanding and see that things are going to be a different way. And it's okay. It is okay. Um, Excellence. They have the spirit of excellence. Good enough is never going to be good enough for them. And you see it so many times when you are, particularly when you're working with a group or working with a team, and there's something that you all are trying to accomplish. There's something that you're trying to do, and you've got that person on the team that says, "Oh yeah, well yeah, I see that over there, but nobody's going to notice. Nobody's going to pay any attention." And if that bothers you, you're the person who's trying to set yourself up for success. And it's not something that you are looking at and saying, oh, if I do this, I know that I am going to succeed. I'm going to attain the goal that I want to attain and all that. No, no, no. It is something that is in you. I think it was Angie, that was saying, um, about being disciplined, and both her and Marie were talking about being focused, staying focused on what it is you are doing. There is something that is innately a part of you that says, I want this to be the best. I want to do the best, the very best that I can do. And when you have that mindset, and when you have that on the inside, then whatever task you undertake, whatever it is that you are trying to do, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, it is just a part of you. If you see something that is out of line or out of sync, uh, it bothers you. It bothers you. It's that person that goes into the room and the first thing that they see is that the picture is crooked. They don't mean to be picky. They don't mean to be coming at you with everything. It is just something in them that says, you know what, it's not in excellence. It's something that's got to change. It's something that's got to be fixed. Now, you got to know how to do it. You got to know how to say it. You got to know how to manage to what communicate it. You got to do those things, and you got to do it in the right way. But that spirit of excellence will always, always take over. It's a lifestyle. It's just a part of who you are. Let me see what Bernice is saying here. Bernice says, I think having determination gives us the ability to keep going through or around the obstacles that are often placed in our way on our journey to being successful. I agree. I agree. Sometimes I think determination gets a bad rap, Bernice, because people think sometimes if you're determined that you can be overbearing, or that you're judging everybody else, and no, that's not it at all. There is and this sounds funny, but some people are just wired that way. You can't force them to give up. You can't force them to slack off. You can't force them to just do things in a haphazard way. No, they just cannot. They cannot do it. But that's part of that. That is that in within that what do I want to say, in that attribute of determination, of being determined. And it's not just being determined to get it done, but it's being determined to be the best. I want to be the best at what I do. Why? Not because I want to show off or anything like that. I want to represent him well. If I'm going to be a representative of the kingdom of God, I want to do it well. I want to do it well. And that's part of it, and that carries through that determination. And the other two things, the last two things that I had written down about this issue of good success, those people who are successful, those people who are determined, those people are also committed. They want to work in excellence. They want to have the spirit of a finisher and all of that. Those last two S's in success were for me to shift, to know how to shift, and to know how to serve, to know how to shift, and to know how to serve. Those people who are successful are also unselfish. They are more concerned sometimes uh, about the success of those around them, or the way their success is going to affect the other people around them, than they are with getting the gold star for themselves. And they have to know that when things happen, instead of looking at it with the glass half empty attitude, they're going to be looking at it from a positive attitude that says, you know what, God just wants to change something over here. Didn't look like what I thought it was going to look like, but you know what, I think it's looking even better. I think it's going to work out even in an even greater fashion than I could have imagined in the beginning. I think this is going to be good. That you are looking up, you're pressing toward the mark of the prize of the high calling in Christ Jesus. We want to be the best that we can be. We want to do the best that we know how to do. And sometimes it's not as difficult as it may appear. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting up every day and knowing that God is with you, and knowing that God loves you, and knowing that God has called you for a specific purpose, for a specific time, to do a specific thing to make a difference in the earth. And every success that you have, every success that you gain, every success that is laid out before you, everything that you have achieved, whether it is money or whether it's found in acquisitions of some kind, whether none of that is involved. If you are going at it from the perspective that you know what, this is going to represent the kingdom. I am his ambassador, and I want to do his will, and I want to do it his way. There is a satisfaction and a fulfillment that you will always have when that success is achieved. You see what Val says down here, Pastor Valerie says, I think real successful people, oh, absolutely, absolutely. Real successful people flow in truth. That is absolutely right, Pastor Valerie. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. I want to ask Bernice or Marie or anybody else who is on the line tonight if they have anything else that they think Ida is really important that we may not have discussed when it comes to being successful and when it comes to good success. If there's anything that you want to share tonight, be sure and just put it in the comments as we are wrapping up. These are always our E2 shows and always our shorter shows, but I think that they are just as powerful as when we have a guest on, because these are things that are at the forefront of our mind a lot of times, and we don't always express it, and we don't always say anything about it. We don't go around saying, oh, I want to be a success, I want to do things the right way, I want my name in lights, this is what I want, this is what I want to have, this is how I'm going to do it. We don't always do that, but it is something innate in us that makes us want to do it. We don't want to think that we are working as hard as we're working and trying as hard as we're trying, and believing what we are believing and seeking truth, as Pastor Val was saying, and doing these things, and yet not accomplishing anything, not seeing things manifest, not seeing the goals be obtained, not seeing the manifestation of the promises that we were going after. That's not where we want to be. We want to be on that side of good success. We want to wake up every day and know that we were able to do something that was pleasing in his sight. We want to know that we did his will and that we did it his way. And that we will, even through faults, even through storms, even through tests, even through trials, we will be on the winning side, the successful side, the side that will bless, the side that will give, the side that will make a difference in the earth. And that, my friends, is where we want to be. That's what we need to succeed. And that's it for me for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you got something out of this. I hope that you will share it with your friends, and let them know that this will be back on the air on Saturday at noon. We always do a replay at noon on Saturdays, and we're going to have this up again. So if you know of somebody who's working really hard, and maybe they have not felt like a success. Maybe they have been at a point where they think that, you know what, I did all of that and it's in vain. No, no. There's always something there. There's always something that can be used by God, as just like He's using each of us. And invite them to tune into ALH Broadcasting noon on Saturday and hear the replay of this program. And in the meantime, like it was Angie that was saying, and Maria as well. Stay focused, be visible. Don't let it be a checklist. Let it be a lifestyle, and see what the Lord will do. That's it for tonight. I'll be right back here on next Thursday evening. Like I said, we're going to have part 4 with Miss Trelyn, quiet on the set, and see what she is up to and what she's been doing. Until that time, have an absolutely amazing week. Enjoy the rest of this week and the beginning of next week. We're winding down, coming to the end of 2024. So we'll see what God is doing, and as always, we are grateful for it. When you come back, I tell you what, just be sure that you turn down the volume of life and that you are ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you know what you're gonna do. You're gonna speak life. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.